Once I was participated in one of the women empowerment related event. I was invited among other 40 women that were considered the driving force of this initiative in the country. And this initiative was organized by one respected organization. The head of this respected organization, a man, had an intro speech. Except of him, there was no other male representative in the room. There was one, the guy who was helping us with coffee and snacks. After the intro speech, the head of this respected organization disappeared, referring to some more important business topics, and we, 40 women, stayed alone, discussing our issues and trying to understand how we can get some power from men and give it to women. I need to mention that in such kind of events, sometimes I still observe a couple of men, but very often they run away, being surrounded by comments and questions, how come that you are here, which could be very frustrating for them and doesn't increase the penetration rate of males in such occasions. And this triggers women. After such events, I find myself sometimes reflecting on my own business experience as female and my way of growth, and also some other famous women that are considered to be powerful and successful. And I keep asking myself whether they were somehow granted with power before they became successful and powerful, or the only thing that they did, they somehow understood their inner power and then unleashed their potential. And seeing the reality around me, very often I started also questioning this women empowerment concept. Is it really about empowerment, or it's just trendy and sexy topic? And if it keeps to be trendy for so long, probably there is something that has gone wrong with it. And in my view, yes, and namely with this empowerment concept. And though here and there some nice women-driven events and movements are happening, like for example, recently Arabic women got their passports and now can travel alone, the issue still exists. When you hear the word empowerment, what first association do you have? Let's look at the definition of the word empowerment. This word, empower, means to give the power or authority to someone. That's it. It means that to empower women, power must be given to them. It implies that we, women, are always on the receiving end to get some power from stronger parties, meaning males. Maybe this is what has gone wrong with this concept. If it aims to make women grow and develop, but at the same time it shows women so weak that they need to be granted with some power, and only after that it's being called empowerment, would it work at all? I doubt. Just imagine that for so many years, instead of women empowerment, through many activists, opinion leaders, media, books, we could have a chance to deal with inner power discovery. I personally believe that instead of granting power to females, women in general need to discover and disclose their power by themselves. And this is my own recipe of self-powering. It was a decade ago when I was a young manager who was getting very great lesson from one of my subordinates about the inner power discovery. That time I was getting a new promotion, and suddenly I learned that one of my future team member, a female, was very dissatisfied with the fact that I'm becoming the head of the department. From the seniority perspective and expertise in some specific field, she was much more experienced than I am that time, and she just couldn't accept this fact. When I learned it, I cannot describe which feeling I had. That was the mix of frustration, anger, offense. I got stuck in my actions and went to the HR person, HR director, female as well, to get some advice. Can you try to love her? That was the only thing that she said as an advice. What? To love a person who is spreading negativity about me without even working with me, without knowing me. But I took the challenge. I refused to sit in a separate room. I took my place in her room, and I didn't build this routine boss-subordinate relationship, but instead I started positioning her as a very valuable team member from whom I also learned and whose opinion matters. And also I started looking for some techniques to change my attitude to the situation. Every morning I was entering our room, was looking at her, giving her a smile, and in my mind I was sending to her inner spiritual message. I wish you happiness. It was very hard from the beginning, but when I started believing in what I was saying, I really started loving her. Later, when I was moving to another position, she confessed that my behavior was very surprising to her, and it helped her to overcome her misunderstandings, prejudices, break the ice, and build some trust. And for me, that was the greatest lesson of the inner power discovery, my inner power that turned to be much bigger than I could ever imagine. So let's look at the inner power discovery as a concept. What do you associate it with? In my view, it's all about ability to identify this inner power and about the process of unleashing it. Doesn't it sound fairer than just granting some power? I felt myself pretty satisfied with these thoughts, but digging deeper into the issue, one bumps into the layers of different problems that are not visible on the surface. For instance, what could be the potential external help the society can give a woman to help her to pass through this self-awareness and power unleashing process? Proper upbringing from the family, values, education, right environment. Government should also be engaged. Strong business policies and equal pay is needed. Job makers' involvement, predictable business environment, probably less tax burdens for female startups, necessary number of maternity hospitals and kindergartens, additional educational opportunities for females. Everything matters. Paying tribute to business, I need to say that, in my view, big corporations are setting now the trends in the recognition of the real power of women and considering them as a driving potential for business growth. Fortunately, Philip Morris has already joined this movement via equal salary certification, balanced male and female ratio, basic respect and equal opportunities for both men and women who are contributing to our mission. And I know that many more corporations are already in or will jump soon this movement, but I need to say that for me personally, the example of Alibaba company is very interesting. Their former CEO, Jack Ma, often says that women make his company yin and yang balanced via balancing the logics and instinct. And this is the secret sauce of my company, he says. He also says that every employee in the company could be considered not only from the IQ and EQ, emotional intelligence, but also from the love Q, ability to love perspective. And he says that women are mostly balanced across all three coefficients. So maybe this is the secret, maybe this is all about love, and this love Q is the coefficient that women inherited through centuries, but was not like their minds, but with their hearts. Being a general manager here in Armenia, I'm often asked about how I'm dealing with Armenians, people who are sometimes very emotional, sometimes offensive, sometimes difficult to agree with, sometimes difficult to manage. And my answer is always simple, with love. Because it doesn't matter who you are, a man or a woman. It's all about the ability to enjoy and believe in what you're doing. It's about love to people around. It's about digging deeper into the culture of the country and invest time and desire into building relationship and trust with partners and colleagues. So, these are my personal learnings of inner power discovery. And now, ladies, and not only ladies, be brave enough to dig deeper inside yourself and find your inner power. And ask for help if it's needed. But never, never beg for power, because you do have it. Just find it.